Today we're taking a look at Gunjo no Magmel. Initially, this show seemed pretty interesting. I saw the art and brief description and decided to give it the first episode a watch. First episode starts out, it's reminding me of Toriko quite a bit, honestly. A whole new continent popping up, and then you get to see all this crazy stuff happening. New monsters, a lot of value, people are traveling in flocks, and it's causing a lot of trouble. At first, I thought that this kind of small group here was going to be the main character, because you see the guy with the white hair, you think he's a badass, and then you find out he dies pretty much right away. Then we get to meet the real main character, Angler. He's a search and rescue official, or pro, as you would call it. He reminds me sort of like Full Metal Alchemist, and just because of the fact he doesn't like being called short, he's kind of powerful and seems to be kind of an outsider right off the bat. This also kind of reminds me, because he's called Angler, this is kind of a weird connection, but it reminds me of Gon Freeksies from Hunter x Hunter, and basically get a further feeling from that because his main assistant that calls him Master, that drives that little machine, is a girl with headphones and kind of sits in her surveillance lab. Reminds me of later in the Hunter x Hunter series when they go to that game. I think it's like something island. So he kind of reminds me of Jin more, because Jin is more of a pro and he's got like a higher license, and they reference license in this as well. So eventually we find out that, you know, this island's got some really powerful monsters, and, you know, part of that is some bugs, and that kind of reminds me of like a Parasite. So Parasite kind of brought me into that, and then I get the reference I like Mushibugyu. Mushibugyu is a little bit older of a show, but it's mostly just fighting bugs and kind of that sort of feel. I don't think it's going to be mostly bugs in this, because he does kill a bird, like the next episode. And there's different types of creatures, like bears and giant dragons and all that. And the first sort of taste of his actual power, we get to see some black lightning. Reminds me of Sasuke from Naruto, as well as the other guy from the village hidden in the clouds. I think it's Kamui with the black tiger lightning, which is kind of cool. And also sort of like Zatch Bell, because Zatch Bell shoots lightning out of his mouth, but it's I'm kind of stretching there. So we find out the brother is kind of a dick. The younger brother that went to, you know, Yunjo, or the Angler, to get his help, and then he ends up getting stabbed in the back. And some really good artwork there, but that's not really the main point. We get to see Angler kind of go berserk, not really, but he justifies it, and then, you know, basically pulls out his gigantic black glove and goes ape mode. And I thought it was kind of funny, because this older brother kind of reminds me of Laxus from Fairy Tail. And he looks just like him, and then they have like a reference to these lectors being fairy tales, so I thought that was just kind of funny. Put it in there. And then pretty much from there, this episode is wrapping up, so you get to see like the full circle of a kind of basic storyline. You know, you meet the guy, he's got a job doesn't turn out so well, they finish it up, and his client's dead, and then back to normal. And his power is, you know, the black lightning, but he also has this gigantic black glove that you only get to see for kind of a second, as he's kind of shoving this guy into the ground. But that black glove kind of reminded me of Reborn. The main guy from Reborn had these black gloves that he would put on, kind of like boxing gloves. They're like more like oven mitts, I guess. And those would light on fire. So it's a little bit different, but it's kind of the same. And yeah, so overall I'd say that this first episode and the show seems to be pretty promising. Definitely going to give it a watch further to see how it progresses, but I think that the initial impact of the show was pretty good. Nothing too crazy. I know I watched to the end without even, you know, stopping and kind of wondering what the hell am I watching, so that's a good sign. And if there's any other shows that you think it would be, you know, good to watch for this season, especially the spring season, there's not too much. There's about 36 shows, 32 shows, something like that. Only about 7 or 8 that have gained interest from me. So I think I'm going to give this one the main attention for now until something else pops along. Obviously One Punch Man Season 2, but, you know, alright. Well, thanks guys. Enjoy.